Alright, welcome back guys. If it's your first time here, I'm Vision Hero Bunner bringing you guys another video, telling you guys my review for the Fear the Walking Dead Season 7 Episode 5, Till Death. Now, if Fear the Walking Dead is something you're interested in, don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below, hit that bell icon, to let me see more Fear the Walking Dead content from me, moving forward. Now let's begin. So, Episode 5 is mainly focused on Dwight and Sherry. Now this is I actually really enjoyed this episode. There are a few things here and there that I didn't like, and I will touch on those, but I did really enjoy this episode. So we got Dwight and Sherry, who have become like these vigilante people known as the Dark Horses. They go out and pretty much like Robin Hood characters at this point, which is cool. I really like that concept, especially given those characters and their history. It would make sense for these characters to have that evolution. So I really like that. They are still bunkered down with the other family that we met at the end of last season, and I really like how you got Dwight and Sherry, who's trying to protect this family. You know, they're not like the best survivors. They want to head out for Padre. Padre mentioned again. It's been mentioned pretty much in every single episode so far, which is I'm very curious to see what it finally has to do with, or what it'll end up being, because we know it's coming in the mid-season finale. But that's beside the point right now. So we got them. They go out looking for food and stuff, but however, on one of their runs, they end up being intercepted by Howard, and they are brought to the tower and they're reunited with Strand. Now this is a very interesting moment, especially when you have the scene where they get the tour of the tower. And you got Dwight, who's saying this is a good place for them to bring that family, because they have a daughter. I figure her name is Briga, and that she sees this as a way to get them somewhere safe. They can have a good life, and not have to worry in being that bunker for the rest of their life, which I really like. But meanwhile, you got Sherry, who's saying this is not our place. Like, for us, this is like too much like the sanctuary. So I really like that. I kind of like how Dwight's kind of more let's kind of work with Strand, while Sherry's wanting to leave. Again, it fits very well with Sherry's character of not wanting to have any history regarding Negan, so it would make sense that she wants to bail out of this place. So I really like that. But you got Strand, who tells them that he'll offer them a place in the tower in exchange for bringing back this other character named Mickey. Now, you got Dwight and Sherry, who are sent off on this mission. They do go off on this mission. They do end up going back to the bunker to find the Larsons, which is the family. However, they end up when they arrive there, they find them all dead, and their daughter has turned. So I find that very interesting aspect, and they're forced to put down a daughter and head on their mission. So they end up finding Mickey, and it's revealed she's like this pro wrestling person. Now, there have been fans who have said that making her like this famous wrestler, is kind of a little bit goofy, over the top. And I can understand their point. I definitely can understand that it wasn't really needed. But at the same time, it does add something to the character, something different. I mean, if you figure it this way, we had Beta, who was a famous musician. So is it really anything different, in my opinion? I mean, it didn't really need to be that. But, you know what? It's okay. I mean, it's nothing terrible. It's nothing that, like, I'm going to say, oh my god, it ruins the character. But it's just something that wasn't necessarily needed. But, it's okay the way they had it play out. But they end up finding Mickey, and she left the tower, and she is looking for her husband. And Strand, I guess she has some skills that Strand wants, and that's why he sent Dwight and Sherry to retrieve her. And it's revealed that she ended up escaping the tower, and the reason Strand wants her back is because he knows that people will realize that she knows a way to escape, and those who want to leave the tower will be able to escape. So he wants to pretty much use her to make an example of what happens if you try to leave the tower, which is a very cool and interesting aspect. But they decide to help Mickey instead of returning her to the tower. So you got them going on their mission to find her husband, and you got Dwight, who's still trying to be pro tower, while you got Sherry, who's again against going to the tower. I really do enjoy that. This I do gotta touch again, because they do return to the Larson family after this point, so they end up splitting up after having a bit of a heated argument about what they should be doing in regards to right and wrong. Should they go to the tower? Should they stay? You got Sherry, who takes Mickey off on her own to go find her husband, and Dwight stays behind. However, Dwight is then ambushed by a survivor because him and Sherry had run into these pair of survivors in the beginning of the group, and they had a scuffle with, and they killed off one, but his partner was still left alive, and he ends up ambushing Dwight, and it's revealed that he's the one who killed the Larson family on orders by Strand, which is very interesting. I'm very curious as to, why Strand wanted them killed. It's a very interesting aspect. And also, people have been asking, like, is Strand, at this point, is Strand too far gone in killing a child? And I've seen both areas back and forth, like, no, it wasn't Strand, it was Howard. Howard was the one. I honestly could see it I don't find Howard to be evil. For me, it just kind of comes off as creepy in that area. It doesn't come off as evil. In my opinion, I think Strand did order the hit, but he was unaware that they had a child at the bunker. So, he didn't know that, and he still ordered the hit anyway to get to Dwight and Sherry. But you got Dwight, who finds this out and pretty much kills this guy and heads off to find Sherry and Mickey. They end up arriving at their wrestling club or place, because that's where Mickey and her husband had put in a rendezvous if they ever got separated. I like how they had that there, similar to Dwight and Sherry having their rendezvous point. It was a really great moment there. I really liked how they had great parallels between Dwight and Sherry and these two other couples. And I'll get to that more towards the end. But they end up getting there. The place is overrun, and Mickey can't get in. So she kind of uses the guts trick to get inside. And, she's she's trying to get through. Her and Sherry try to get through. And in the midst of it, once they get through, they find her husband has turned. And you got her, who kind of breaks down. And, she ends up having to put her husband down. And in the midst of this, they end up having to fight off the horde. The horde breaks through. And you got the two of them who have to fight back, but Dwight also shows up, and they end up having to fight off the zombies. And here's one of my biggest annoyances with the episode, is they fighting and they just got this music playing in the background. I understand they do that sometimes with The Walking Dead and stuff like that, but this kind of came up as cringe. It was something I really, really didn't like. It was very cringy. It just felt like, oh god, why are we having this moment here? It was a good Walker fight. We just didn't need the music in the background. Like I said, that was a great Walker fight. It was a great sequence, so I really like that aspect. And you got how they used things around them to fight. But again, just found it super, super gimmicky with the music. So I really have to take off points there. Now, we get to the end of the episode. Or after the Walker fight, because there's more to come at the end of the episode. But we got to the end of after the battle, and you got Dwight and Sherry, who sit down and talk, and you got them trying to figure out what their next move is in life. And you got Dwight, who says, I don't want to just survive anymore. I want to form like a family. This is something I've been thinking about, and this is something I want. I want to have a family with you and me, and I really like that because it also parallels Morgan and Grace's episode back in episode 2. So I really like that, and I feel like this is going to be something that the season plays out with, is this idea of family. I really do believe that. I think that definitely could be also an interesting aspect of our group wrestling with the idea of family. And I definitely could see that going on, and just maybe our group becoming their own little separate family in a way. You got Dwight and Sherry having growing this bond of family, same with Morgan and Grace, and you got Strand, who's on the outside, not in this family. He's kind of like the advert person. He's not totally a member, so I really like that. I think that'd be an interesting aspect. But this is where I want to talk about some parallels, because you got the two of them who decide that they, this is what they want to do with their lives. But I also feel like the two couples within this episode very much mirror Dwight and Sherry in a way. You got Kevin and Kim, I think that's what their name is, and their daughter Briga, I think that's what their names are. And that's the happy family, and I think that looking at how this episode ended with Dwight and Sherry wanting to have this family, I think that parallels, like, if depending on what route they could go down, they could end up being like the Larsons and finally settle down, have this family, whatever that may look like in the zombie apocalypse. But also they could go down a road of Mickey and her husband, where they kind of aren't together. They kind of have this split, and one of them doesn't make it. So I really think that very much parallels like their journey together. Like if they go down one road, they could have what the Larsons have, but if they go down this other route, they could end up like Mickey and her husband. I really think that is a good parallel. Maybe I'm looking too much into it. I definitely could be, but to me, that's kind of how I see it. And I just definitely like that. I also I want to bring this up because I didn't really talk about it, but it also is said that they have like this code that they follow, which is very cool. And it also is like a way, from what I understand, it's their way of kind of making sure they don't turn into Negan-esque characters, which I really like. But at the end of the day, we got the episode ending off. We got Mickey who joins them on their mission, and you got the Freedom going off, and while they're riding off in the middle of nowhere, they end up being cornered and surrounded by the stalkers. Now, this is a group that we've been seeing a lot throughout this first half of the season. They're very mysterious. We don't know much about them, but we got them surrounded, and it ends with the episode with them saying that they've heard of those dark horses and they have a mission that they want to help them find Padre. Sorry, I don't know why I said Bardo. I was thinking about another show. Sorry about that. But Padre. They want them to help them find Padre, since that's pretty much what the dark horses do: find things, find people. So I really like that. It's gonna intersect here, and I'm very curious because as of right now, it brings Dwight and Sherry into this new story arc, and especially bringing them into this new antagonist group is definitely something interesting there, because it definitely is interesting to see how Dwight and Sherry could interact with this antagonistic group moving forward with the rest of the season, because it's definitely an interesting aspect, them having their code but yet having to help this antagonistic group. I mean, we did touch on that a little bit with Victor and them, but I feel like there could be more expansion here with them, with their code, and this new antagonist group. Overall, I thought this was a pretty solid episode. If I had to give this episode a grade, I'd give it an 8 out of 10. Definitely a really good episode, solid episode. Very much enjoyed it. And just all around, love the characters. Again, definitely got to take off points for the music. That was very stupid. And Mickey being a professional wrestler, kind of, like I said, it kind of didn't need to be there, but it's okay that was there. I do take off a few points, but not a lot. The music at the zombie fight was definitely the biggest detraction of points. But overall, I thought this was a solid episode, and I'm going to say actually an 8.5 out of 10. Definitely a solid episode, and just all around super excited to see what these two characters do moving forward. But let me know your thoughts and opinions about this episode in the comment section down below. So yeah, guys, that's my review of Fear the Walking Dead Season 7, Episode 5, Till Death. As always, if you guys feel, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and share. Don't forget to hit subscribe button down below. Hit that bell icon there to miss more Fear the Walking Dead content from me moving forward. And you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter, which is linked in the best section of my YouTube channel. As always, I've been Vision Hero Boy Entertainment, and I'll see you next time.